chief recruiters and key personnel individuals at with Ohio State football. So thank you everyone for being on. Really appreciate it. Again, we're going to have some time today to interact and talk to Mark Pantoni, who you all know, and you'll get a chance to meet Erin Dunston, who's new with our program now. We'll go ahead and you can ask questions of Mark and or Erin. We're not going to have a set time for each one, so I'm going to just go ahead and open it up for questions right now. I think Spencer Holbrook from Letterman Row was the first on, so Spencer, you get the first crack. Go ahead, please.
Mark, what are the challenges of hosting so many players in these first couple weekends? Do you guys see it as a good thing, or is there some challenges that come with that, with trying to pay attention to everyone who's going to be on campus and making everybody feel like they belong there?
No, I think it's a great problem to have. Just I think the excitement of all these kids, it's been almost 2 years since anyone's been able to visit. So the kids are excited. The staff's excited to finally, see these people up front rather than these constant Zooms. The good thing is we're not in season right now, so it's all hands on deck in the building, and which it will be. And it's just my job and Erin's job just to be as organized as possible for when they get on campus with so many kids, that we have a great plan and envision anything that could possibly go wrong and be prepared for it.
Next up, we'll go to Patrick Murphy with 24/7 Sports. Patrick?
Hey, Mark. Just kind of take us through how your role changed the last year, without people on campus as normal. What was it that you were doing? What were the biggest challenges? Behind the scenes a little bit, how did you have to handle this situation maybe differently than you would a normal year?
Probably added a couple of years back onto my life with just without all the craziness of campus visits. But it was great in that it provided me more time to do scouting reports during our fall season, just to help the coaches. So I spent a lot of time scouting our opponents, which is good because now with this one-time transfer rule, now I have notes on every team we played, and I would take notes on other players. So if they now enter the portal, at least I've graded guys and got a head start that way. But obviously when you're constantly doing Zoom, you're kind of limited on what you creatively can come up with. So I think I told you guys this analogy before, but the Brian Hart line, it's cool to, when you see the commercial of the nice flashy car, but you don't really know until you test drive it, how cool it really is. So that's what we're about to do. These kids are about to test drive the car finally, after seeing the commercial for so many months.
Next up, Dan Hope with 11 Warriors. Dan?
Hey, Erin, just wanted to ask you, as you're starting this new role, what's it been like for you to kind of come in as your first year on the job and to be now coming in at such a crazy time in recruiting?
Working at the University of Kansas really afforded me the ability to enhance my skills and be prepared to come to Ohio State. And with about 14 months-ish not having kids on campus, we're doing something a little bit different where it's almost like a hybrid, like utilizing Zoom and having the kids back on campus. So that transition really helps us to ease back into it. And honestly, I'm just super excited to get everyone back on campus, like working in this field and being with these prospects and getting to know them. It's just an exciting opportunity to have them finally back and transition back to the normal times.
And what brought you to Ohio State, and kind of what do you think that you're going to bring to this recruiting department?
Honestly, the people and the vision and the family atmosphere that Coach Day and Mark Pantoni really showed me is what brought me to Ohio State. The challenge of having these kids come back on campus in such a high volume brought me to Ohio State. And obviously we didn't know at the time how many kids we were going to have, but we knew that it was going to open back up one day. So that's what really brought me to Ohio State. And I think my personality, my organizational skills, my experience is what is going to allow me to help elevate Ohio State in the recruiting aspect.
Thank you.
Let's go to Kevin Noon with Rivals/Buckeye Grove. Kevin.
Thanks, Jerry. For Mark, you're going to have most of your commits coming in the first weekend. and obviously that's going to be good for the camaraderie. A lot of these guys have not had the opportunity to meet each other in person. Is it better to have them all coming in at once, or is there part of you that wishes that you could spread them across the weekends just so you would always have a couple of guys that were obviously very pro Ohio State after committing? Because certainly it's not going to stop maybe some of the local guys from coming in unofficially, but is it better to have them all in at once, or if you had your way of picking it, to spread them out?
Yeah, we discussed that as a staff, and we just felt like since they've been so loyal to us, we wanted them to get here that first weekend, just because they deserve it. They deserve to all be here together, get to know each other. They are our best recruiters, them along with our current players. So I know some of the local guys, I'm sure will come back other weekends and help, but no, it was our decision to get them all here that first weekend if they could.
Next up, Jeremy Birmingham, Letterman Row. Jeremy.
Mark, a couple things. How many people are you actually expecting on campus in June? And with the 6 set one-day camps and is the rest of June basically just an open house where kids can stop in and do unofficial visits? And if that's so, what is the guidance on their ability to work out or get evaluated during those unofficials as opposed to the camps?
Yeah, I'll let Erin answer your first question here in a second, just because she's keeping the calendar and the numbers. But just as far as the 2022s, they can come work out for 1 hour with one coach. So there's no wide receivers running routes together. There's no one-on-ones. It's just simply a one-on-one workout. And then with camps, that'll be mostly for the 23s and 24s, just to get that early evaluation on them. But every day is going to be crazy. There's not going to be any days off. Erin can talk now just about how the total numbers are looking.
Yeah, for official visits, we have approximately 51 approved right now. And then for unofficial visits, it is kind of like an open door. If they come to camp and they want an unofficial visit, they can have that. If they're coming to see their coaches and get a tour, campus tour, they can do that as well. So I don't want to give you a small ballpark number or a large ballpark number, but right now on my calendar, it's about 150 to 200 kids.
And there is no ability for kids who are on official visits to do the hour workout?
No, they cannot.
Okay.
Next up, let's go to Stephen Means with cleveland.com. Stephen?
Mark, just given what the last year has been like, and we're talking about the number of commitments you guys have right now, do you feel like you guys are in a spot that you wanted to be in as far as the number of players who are in the class right now, the positions they're at? Do you just feel like headed into this June, now that things are opening back up, you're where you want to be as a class right now?
Yeah, I think we're very content with where we're at. I'm always of the philosophy you don't want to fill up too early, just because you want to use the summer for the camp evals. There's going to be new kids that pop up, and then going into the fall with the development of these guys, their senior film guys always develop and get better. This last year's Zen was a guy that wasn't on our radar, and then he has a great senior film, and he ends up becoming a Buckeye. So it's always good that we feel good about the number we're at, and then here in these next few months, we expect to get a few more after some more eval.
Next up, Joey Kaufman with the Dispatch. Joey?
Mark, just to give people, I guess, some context, but how much more would 51 official visitors be compared to like 2019 or past years? How much more is that, or is that similar to what's been in past Junes?
It's obviously for 1 month, it's very overwhelming. So our max every year is usually 62 with a 6 rollover. We probably in a normal year probably get in the high 40s to low 50s. So this is pretty extraordinary, but not unexpected either.
Next up, Tony Girdman with Buckeye Scoop. Tony?
Mark, you've put together a lot of recruiting classes at Ohio State and Florida. I'm wondering, is this the biggest recruiting month you've ever experienced coming up? And what's it like preparing for? Are you in a game week mode? Is it Is it nerves? Is it like, getting ready for the first day at a new job? What's it been like for you?
Yeah, it's exciting, but we know what's coming, and is we just have to be very organized. And Erin's been a rock star, coming in right away, and she's been great, and we haven't lost a step with her. So Erin and I are just working closely together, and we're just trying to take it day by day right now. Obviously, that first weekend we have a lot, but starting next Tuesday, it's on, and we just got to go day by day, and it's like just win that day, and then have a great plan prepared for that weekend. So it's all hands on deck, and we're going to do everything we can to just make it as smooth as possible. But like I said, it is by far in my career it's going to be a rough one, and the month of July, that phone's probably going to be turned off, and no one's going to track me down. So,
Thank you.
Next up, Austin Ward with Letterman Row. Austin.
Mark, I know in some ways you guys have been preparing for name, image, and likeness for a long time with brand you and stuff like that. Now that there may be some legislation close for these guys, how much is that impacting recruiting and what you guys are trying to pitch now?
Yeah, so Coach Day is, along with Gene, have been awesome and just getting prepared. And just the next step is educating. It's been educating our staff and our players. And the place like Ohio State, we talked about it the other day, the brand of that Block O nationally, the brand of Ohio State football, the city of Columbus, and then our fan base, which is on another level. We feel very excited about the opportunities for our players, and we're going to definitely discuss it with all the recruits these next few weeks, and we think it's a great selling point for them. We have to embrace it. We know it's coming down the tracks, and we're going to be well prepared for it.
Next up, Bill Rabinowitz with the Columbus Dispatch. Bill.
Hi, Mark. You mentioned the transfer portal and how you've taken a bigger role in that, especially with recruiting kind of being put on pause to some degree in certain ways. How much has that changed your job, and how big a part of your job has that become, looking at the transfer portal and analyzing those guys?
Yeah, it's definitely become bigger. Probably spending a few hours a day now watching guys as they enter the portal. Just there's always looking for, if there's someone who can help the roster, we'll bring them in. So whether it's FBS, FCS, we're just trying to make sure. So yeah, probably a couple hours every single day now I'm spending on watching college film rather than high school film. So it's been a transition.
Yeah, and in terms of that, I mean, you're used to watching high school kids. Do you evaluate college kids differently?
They're just a little bit more developed, but the skill set wise, you're still looking at the same critical factors and everything, and how productive were they for their team. Obviously, a guy who was a backup at the school they left and didn't have much film, probably not going to be a guy for us. So we're looking at guys who've had success at their old school and maybe be able to help us, like Jonah and Trey and Justin were home runs for us.
Right. Thanks, Mark.